Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. This is Mr. Scala. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. So today, in our video lesson, we're going to go over what we did in the live session today. So, if we're looking at our dream graphic organizer, we should already have this first part, this whole first page completely filled out with our how STEM is involved, science, technology, engineering, and math. We should have a drawing and our prototype done. So today we're going to be focusing on the second page, which involves defining the problem. How can your design help solve a world problem? So if we look at Mr. Golden's example, his example was the power stick. So his problem was there are too many different controllers for different consoles slash PCs. So he wants to also have my own controller to be able to fit in his pocket and on the go whenever he goes over to his friend's house. So today we're going to start by filling out this first, defining the problem. Yesterday we watched the video about how to define an actual problem. Remembering yesterday's video that she was stuck on that cliff and she needed to get to the other side. That would be what we would originally put as could be her problem. But she was able to narrow it down and really focus it into an exact problem because she couldn't use a bridge, she couldn't climb down it, she couldn't swim across it. So the only way that she could get across was through the air. So she was able to narrow down her problem into the statement, I need to get to the other side of this cliff through the air. Remembering yesterday, she also came up with her success criteria and the way she would do that. And her idea was to use the tent that she had to fashion into a hang glider to glide in the air across the other side. So in your graphic organizer, we're going to go in right now, we're going to define your problem. And then how can your design help to solve a world problem? With the variety of different ideas that have come up with, there are some like the trash bot, and the problem is there is too much trash on the side of the road. And the best way we could fix this would be to come up with a trash bot, a machine that goes and picks up that trash. So from there, we're going to design solutions, 3 to 5 different ideas. So if we're looking at our designing solutions, rule number 1 for creating an alternative solution is don't settle for your first idea. Good designers try to generate as many ideas as possible. Possible solutions as they can before choosing the one they feel is best. The creative process of developing solutions is called ideation. Methods of ideations: examining existing solutions, creating and using analogies, conducting brainstorming sessions, and sketching and doodling. So we have our first video about got some solutions.
We've been talking about the stars in space and the habitats on Earth and the conservation of mass and all kinds of stuff. And while I love talking about those things, there's one topic we haven't covered in a while that I miss: engineering. And cartoon me really missed wearing this cool Iron Man outfit. Looking good, little Sabrina. So far, we've talked about what engineers do and the process that they follow when they're, engineering stuff. We've also devoted 2 lessons to the super important first step of the engineering process: defining the problem. Ugh, problems. They're the worst. But you know what's the best? I mean, after pancakes, solutions. Solutions are great. Which brings us to our big question: is there just one solution for every problem? For those of you who don't remember what an engineer is or didn't watch that lesson, and hi, you totally should, an engineer is a person who designs and builds things to solve specific problems. The engineering process is a series of steps that engineers use to guide them as they work toward a solution for whatever their particular problem is. Now, speaking of problems, remember this place? The problem we faced earlier was getting across this gigantic gorge in one piece. More specifically, our problem was how do we fly across this huge gorge since there was no bridge to cross and it was too deep to climb down one side and up the other. We decided a hang glider was one possible way to soar across the gap, which was pretty clever, I have to say. But if we want to really think like engineers, we should try to come up with more than just one solution to this problem, or more than one way to fly across this gorge. Think we can do it? We totally got this. Let's review our checklist from the earlier lessons on what a successful solution to this problem looks like. Number 1 was that our solution should get us to the other side alive. Yep, that's a biggie. Number 2, the thing that gets us to the other side, should be something we currently have or can easily get our hands on. And lastly, number 3 was that whatever our solution is, it's something we can ideally reuse once we're on the other side. So other than our hang glider solution from last time, what else can we think of? Well, let's say we took this camping trip to celebrate a birthday. So we brought along a pack of balloons to blow up and decorate the tent with. Luckily, we haven't inflated them just yet. So what if we use the balloons to lift the tent, or maybe just me, and carry me over the gorge? Kind of like in the movie Up, but with cartoon me instead of Carl and Russell. That idea, plus the tent hang glider, gives us 2 possible solutions to our gorge problem. 3 is better than 2, I say, so can we come up with one more? Like any good camper, we came on this trip prepared for anything, from birthdays to bad weather. Bad weather, like rain. So of course we've got an umbrella handy. I wonder if we get a good running head start if we could get enough lift to float or fly across the gorge. Hey, it worked for Mary Poppins. Anyhow, this gorge problem, as tricky as it is, actually does have more than one possible solution. But are they all really possible? We don't know yet if they'll actually work because that's what the evaluating stage is for. So, in the meantime, guys, definitely don't try any of these solutions at home, okay? I'd prefer, and I think your parents would agree, that you kept your feet on the ground where they belong. Cool? Cool. So is there just one possible solution to this problem? Say it with me now. No. There are usually many potential ways to solve any given problem. But is one solution even better than another? Is one of our 3 flying solutions better than the other 2? The answer to that question is coming up next time. See you soon, engineers in training.
So in that video, she had her original idea that she thought about with using her tent as a hang glider, but she also came up with other solutions for the problem of how can I get from one side of this cliff to the other through the air. Some other ideas that she came up with was using the balloons and using her umbrella, trying to get a running start to see if it would carry her across, which most of us could agree that probably for sure won't work. But they are ideas nonetheless. So, get those creative juices flowing and come up with at least 3 creative ways to solve your problem. If you're stuck, if you can reach out to each other, or again, my office hours are from 10:45 to 1 o'clock. Feel free to reach out to me. We can brainstorm some ideas together. Some of us already have what we believe is the best possible solution with our dream invention, but I want you to think about a couple other ways that you could solve that problem. Then you're going to go ahead and fill that out in the second row of your graphic organizer. 3 to 5 ideas. Circle your best one. Your best one might be the one that you are actually made your prototype on and the one that you are going to do. Next box is, why is that your best solution? So choosing the best solution, we're going to be looking at what is the best solution for our defined problem. So let's fly.
Hey there, future engineers. Welcome back. We ended our last engineering lesson, which was all about coming up with multiple solutions to a single problem, on a bit of a cliffhanger. So let's jump back in and see if we can answer the question we asked at the end of that lesson. Is one solution even better than another? Let's do a quick recap. You remember that an engineer is a person who designs and builds things to solve specific problems. The process they follow when they're doing this is called the engineering process, or a series of steps that engineers use to guide them as they work towards a solution for whatever their particular problem is. Scratch that. Not solution, singular. Solutions, plural. Real engineers always brainstorm more than one solution to a single problem. This way, if one possible solution doesn't work, they always have more options to test. So, how do engineers figure out which solution is the best solution? Well, engineers put a lot of thought into deciding which might work best for their problem. They look at each of the solutions they brainstormed in a logical or reasonable way and ask questions about each option. Think of it sort of like making a list of pros and cons or strengths and weaknesses for each possibility. Ready to try thinking like an engineer? Cool, let's do this. We'll examine all three of the possible solutions we came up with last time to our gorge problem and see if we can figure out which one is the best solution. First up is our up solution, building a balloon-powered airlift. Let's take a look at the solution's strengths first. Does it meet our original requirements for being a good solution? Well, it sort of meets requirement 2 since it involves some materials we already have, namely balloons. But it also requires materials we don't have, like a helium tank. I mean, we can't blow up the balloons with our own lung power and expect them to lift us across the gorge. In order for the balloons to float up, they need to be filled with helium gas, or maybe really hot air like in a hot air balloon. And we don't have either of those. As for requirement 3, we should be able to use them as balloons again on the other side if we want to. So that's something. But what about requirement number 1? Remember the one about getting us to the other side alive? Well, as an engineer, it's important to think big, and sometimes that involves crazy ideas that people would never thought possible, like spaceships or computers. There's nothing wrong with thinking like that, and you totally should think like that during the engineering process. But sometimes you have to be logical and know when an idea is too crazy, and in this case, unsafe. And I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but one pack of balloons filled with regular old air, no matter how big you blow them up, won't get us to the other side of the gorge alive. A real engineer would test this on solid ground and come to the same conclusion. But that's okay, we have 2 other solutions to look at. Our next solution is our Mary Poppins style solution, floating over the gorge with our umbrella. Like our first solution, this involves materials we have, an umbrella, and we'd be able to reuse the umbrella again on the other side of the gorge if we needed to. But what about our other stuff? If we're using one hand to hold our umbrella, we'll only have one hand free to carry our other stuff, like our tent, and that stuff would probably weigh us down as we tried to float across the gorge. So once again, we need to ask, will this solution get us to the other side alive? Sorry again, but I'm thinking no. Our umbrella is not very big, and this gorge is. Even if we get a good running start, if we leap off this gorge, we won't float all the way across with our small umbrella. Plus, we'd probably have to leave our other stuff behind. After all, Mary Poppins was make-believe, not real, so pretend solutions won't work for real engineers. And just like in the first solution, if engineers were to test this, they'd find that they couldn't get afloat with an umbrella. But fear not, brave engineers, our final solution awaits. To hang glide or not to hang glide. Okay, requirement number 2. We can try this solution with the materials we already have, our tent. Requirement number 3. We can disassemble the glider on the other side and reuse it as a tent. Bonus, we'll have to carry less of our stuff across the gorge because some of it will already be on our back. Time for the big question. Will we get across alive? A good engineer with a good sturdy tent and the knowledge of how to build a working hang glider might just be able to create something that would get them to the other side. But they would test the solution many times before they actually let me or some other person try it for real. Did I mention that they would test it many times? And if for some reason the hang glider didn't work, the engineer would go back to the drawing board and come up with even more possible solutions. So as cool as it might be to float across a gorge via a bunch of balloons or by holding onto an umbrella, the hang glider option seems to have more strengths and fewer weaknesses than the other 2. And even though the hang glider might not end up being the winning solution to this problem, it's the best of the options we have now. Which means, drum roll please, yep, some solutions are better than others. By thinking logically, asking questions, and looking at potential solutions, strengths, and weaknesses, you can determine which solution is the best solution to a problem. Happy engineering!
So, you're going to look at the third row of your graphic organizer. Why is this the best idea? So you've come up with your problem. You've defined 3 to 5 solutions to your problem, and you're going to pick out which is your best idea. Most of us are going to go with the one that we have already created our prototype on because we have already thought about this and said this is the best idea. So if we're looking at Mr. Golden's example, why is this the best idea? Customers should be able to choose the power stick that suits their gaming needs. The customizable options will appeal to gamers of all ability levels. So with his dream invention, he's created a power stick, which is a gaming controller that allows him to connect to any console, whether it is Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, Nintendo, whatever. So you could get any different variations of the power sticks that fit your needs as a gamer. So we're going to make sure we get that filled out. Why is the best idea? So yours could be, this is the best idea because it is the cheapest, most affordable. this is the best idea because it does the task and it fixes the problem. This is the best idea because it's the only one that really makes sense and is actually marketable and creates something that's new or innovates on something that already exists. And then we have already constructed our prototype. So we're going to take that picture that we put right here from our drawing and just copy it and paste it right in there. You'll see Mr. Golden did the exact same thing. This is his drawing of the power stick, and then he just put it right there. The next part is how we can plan and carry out an investigation to test your solution. How would you test your invention? And we're going to write a fake statistic and quote from an expert. Let's go back to our slides. We did our prototype drawing. Should be done before coming into class today. So evidence of testing. How will you test your product? Will you test it on humans? Can you give out a survey? So I want you to think of a fake statistic to help sell your product. For an example, 95 million people have Prairie Prime membership in the US. And get a quote from an expert. Example, our expert would be Steve Dozier because he is the communication director out at Prairie. And he said, I don't know what I would do without my Prairie Prime membership. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to fill out how you will plan to carry out your investigation. So think about what your product actually does. And you should be able to test it in some way, shape, or form, whether it's my iPhone 72. I could do tests where I try to find places in the US where phone calls get dropped. And I could test my innovation, which was the antennas on it, and say, look, my cell phone doesn't lose calls here while the average one does. And I could test it maybe 20 times, and out of the 20 times, maybe my phone, the iPhone 72, drops the calls 9 times or 19 times. And then I test a normal phone, iPhone, 20 times as well, and it drops the call 15 times. So I could give that as my fake statistic. While being tested, my iPhone 72 with antennas only drops calls 19 out of 20 times in places where normal iPhones drop their phone calls 15 out of 20 times. That would show that my invention, my innovation, is more reliable and does better and fulfills that problem of dropping phone calls better than what is currently available. Let's go ahead and look at Mr. Golden's copy for an example for what he wrote. So, how would you test your invention? Well, I would give my power stick to a group of casual gamers and professional gamers for free. Hopefully they'll test it out and write a review on social media. He could also come up with a feedback form, just like we do in Google forums all the time, about how well they thought the product did, just a simple review of the product. That way people could say, okay, this professional gamer who I follow on Twitch or whatever, YouTube, whatever, they prefer this power stick over the normal controller. It must be good. Write a fake statistic and quote from an expert. Statistic, 60% of all Twitch streamers use the power stick. And our quote, the power stick is going to change the gaming industry forever. Dr. Disrespect. So we're going to fill that out. And then we're going to be looking at telling the public here. So, in the last box, how will you tell the public about your invention or innovation? So, we're going to advertise it. Well, you can choose it. This is how Mr. Golden chose to advertise his. He's going to advertise it on social media, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. And he's going to give power sticks out to popular streamers and sponsor their streams in exchange for advertisement or a review from them. So let's look at our wonderful how we're going to tell the public from our slides. So how will you let the people know about your invention? Where will you advertise it? Twitter, YouTube, TV, TikTok, Twitch, anywhere else? Instagram? So we're going to be looking at some advertisements that were created to inform the public about different products.
You want to keep warm when you're feeling chilled, but you don't want to raise your heating bill. Blankets are okay, but they can slip and slide. And when you need to reach for something, your hands are trapped inside. Now, there's the Snuggie, the blanket that has sleeves. The Snuggie keeps you totally warm and gives you the freedom to use your hands. So now, you can work the remote or read a book in total warmth and comfort. Use your laptop without being cold, or enjoy a snack while staying snugly warm. Snuggie is made of ultra-soft, thick, luxurious fleece with oversized sleeves so you can move your arms and use your hands and still be wrapped in warmth. Super large, one size fits all, so you can stay warm from head to toe. No more cold feet. And with Snuggie, you can get up and still stay warm. Perfect for men, women, and children, too. The ultra soft fleece keeps you totally warm, and the sleeves keep your hands free. So you can snuggle your baby in your arms or keep your pet close at hand. Perfect for chilly outdoor evenings, staying cozy and warm at sporting events. And it's ideal for those drafty dorm rooms. The Snuggie is machine washable, so you'll get years of warmth and comfort. Now you can use your remote, enjoy a snack, talk on the phone, do what you need to, and stay totally warm with the Snuggie. Similar products sell for up to $60, but call now and you'll get the ultra soft, ultra warm Snuggie for only $14.95.
What a steal.
Available in royal blue, sage green, and burgundy. As an added bonus, you'll also receive our compact press and open book light. Just press and the book light instantly opens and turns on for extra light where you need it. A $15 value free. Yes, you get the ultra
Free.
soft fleece Snuggie and our press and open book light. A $75 value, both for only $14.95.
To order, call 1-800-819-0658. Remember,
It's a backwards robe, guys. A Snuggie is a backwards robe. Okay. And then our wonderful Billy Mays, the legendary.
It's amazing. Watch how OxyClean unleashes the power of oxygen, making tough stains disappear like magic without fading or bleeding the colors. For pet messes, OxyClean is a must. It goes deep down below the surface to get rid of the stain and the odor. Have you ever spilled chlorine bleach on your colored clothes? Well, OxyClean is tough on stains without the damaging effects of chlorine bleach. If you save one pair of jeans, then OxyClean has paid for itself. Some clothes say no chlorine bleach, but OxyClean safely removes the stain, even on babies' clothes. It's the stain remover for the things that you love. Add a scoop of OxyClean to every load of laundry. It'll boost the stain-removing power of your detergent. Don't just clean it, OxyClean it.
Billy Mays. All right. So this is how you're going to fill out your last row of your graphic organizer with how will you tell the public about your invention? Keeping in mind, you want to be fairly specific. Where you'll advertise it, how you'll do it. It could be a radio. That way you don't have to show a video. It could be a commercial where you create a commercial at home with your wonderful dream invention. So, and then there's other ways you can do it as well. Mr. Golden talked about giving the Power Stick out to popular streamers and sponsor their streams in exchange for advertisement. And then they could review them as well. So getting the word out about your invention. So this is a student sample with all of them filled out. So this student said they're going to advertise on TV and magazines. So I would, before you start this, I would maybe come to my office hours, say, hey, I have it all filled out. Could you take a look at it? You could present it to me. That way we can move on it. You don't have to worry about that sheet anymore. If you move on, you're going to create a persuasive poster over the weekend or today to sell your invention. So what should you include in your poster to make it awesome? I would use words and phrases that appeal to your goal of getting someone to buy your invention. It should be visually appealing and organized, including fake statistics and your quote from an expert. Don't use too many statistics and quotes. Keep it simple, but have one of each in there. What would not be awesome to have on my poster? Writing errors, such as spelling, capitalization error, words copied and pasted from the internet, not detailed enough. So if I don't know what you're selling on your poster, I'm not going to buy it. So you're going to want to be detailed about what it is and what it does. And how are you going to create your poster? You're going to use Google Drawings to create your poster. There's a video. This has been linked in on the video lessons. There's a new thing on Classroom that has all the videos. Feel free to go look at it. Most of us have already got started. So here's an example for the Power Stick. Power plus stick. And it's got Dr. Disrespectful. There's his quote. Take it anywhere. The Power Stick. Controller with console or PC. So it says what it does. Here's his wonderful statistics. 60% of all Twitch streamers are using the Power Stick. Another example. Calling all basses. If you're looking for more percussion in your bass, then look no further. Introducing the percussion bass. Many composers use this. Plastic added to it. Statistic. A quote. All of those are there. So then you are going to go ahead and create your poster and advertisement. That is your assignment for the weekend. If you're confused on how to do your poster or advertisement, feel free to get in contact with me. Again, my office hours are from 10:45 to 1 o'clock. So you're actually going to be creating a poster for your product. If you want that to be your advertisement, that's fine. I would prefer, though, you do two separate ones, creating a poster and also creating some sort of advertisement. It's fine with me if it's a radio advertisement where you're recording yourself selling it, keeping in mind that if you listen to Billy Mays, he has passion in it. We shouldn't just be talking, this is my product, the Power Stick. This is what it does. Twitch streamers love it. Add some enthusiasm to it. If you're going to do a TikTok, that is all right with me. Just make sure somehow that information gets to me. I do have a TikTok account. You could add me in the comments. You could also create a video commercial. Your computers have a camera on them, so you could record yourself at home. You could even have family members help you out, siblings help you out. It is a great opportunity to be creative in your advertisement. So you're going to create a poster and you're going to create an advertisement. We're going to make those two separate things. So that is your homework. And on Monday, we're going to start to share. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.